The president-elect wasting no time getting to work on the transition. I'm Caroline Shively in Wilmington, Delaware. More on that coming up.
Dozens of Trump supporters gather on 7th and Range Line in Joplin to protest against the election results. I'm Caitlin Shive. That's coming up.
Plus, we are checking out a cool crafting class at the McCune Farm to Market and learning why this get-together is significant for the store and its patrons. Meteorologist Nick Kelly has your weather. Andy Ciateco's on sports. I'm Mike Mahoney, and this is your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, thanks so much for joining us this Sunday evening. After Joe Biden's victory this weekend, following one of the most contentious presidential campaigns in U.S. history, the new president-elect is already getting to work on assembling his new administration. Fox News' Caroline Shively is at Biden HQ in Wilmington, Delaware, with the latest.
Now that the race has finally been called, President-elect Joe Biden is turning his attention to the transition process. President-elect Joe Biden visiting his son Beau's grave after attending church Sunday in Delaware, ahead of his first full day of action building his new administration. The transition team already announcing the head of a new COVID task force, Dr. Vivek Murthy, a former Surgeon General who had been serving as a public health advisor for the campaign. As a candidate, Biden made an effort to reach across party lines, and this could extend to his cabinet picks. Though progressives who helped build the coalition which led Biden to victory are also making a bid to be included.
Progressive grassroots movements, black and brown and white and environmental, etc., labor, played an enormously important role in bringing out the vote. The progressive movement today deserves important places in the Biden administration.
Allies of President Trump say he does not plan to concede the race anytime soon. So far, Senate Republicans have not backed the president's claims of widespread voting fraud.
It's important for the cause of democracy and freedom that we don't allege fraud and theft and so forth unless there's very clear evidence of that. And at this stage, that evidence hasn't been produced.
The president-elect says he's moving forward and at his victory speech vowed to represent even those who voted for his opponent.
For all those of you who voted for President Trump, I understand the disappointment. It's time to put away the harsh rhetoric, lower the temperature, see each other again, listen to each other again.
We still don't know if Biden will be working with the Senate majority. That all depends on 2 runoff races set for Georgia in January. In Wilmington, Delaware, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
President Trump spent his day on the golf course for the 2nd day in a row, one day after media outlets announced Joe Biden would become the 46th president of the United States. The 45th president has yet to concede. However, President Trump has doubled down on his claims that the election was illegitimate, and in a statement, the president said it's, quote, far from over, pledging legal challenges. Trump supporters across the country have held Stop the Steal rallies and protests, including right here in the 4-state area. KOAM's Caitlin Shive checked out a rally in Joplin today.
Stop the Steal rallies have erupted across the country following the news that Joe Biden is the projected winner of the 2020 election.
This is a group of patriots that want to show our support for President Trump and promote Stop the Steal, because we believe this election was stolen from President Trump and a lot of other GOP senators.
Around 100 people gathered on 7th and Range Line in Joplin to do the same, waving around Trump flags and signs that displayed the words Stop the Steal and other sayings in support of Donald Trump.
We could see all the support throughout the United States that President Trump had. It was unbelievable.
Terry Edwards has been promoting the rally on social media for the past 2 days, hoping for a big turnout.
The sidewalk's full, the parking lot's full. It's awesome that Joplin has came out to support our president. I want people to realize what has been done. The integrity of our election system is not looking good right now, and we want that changed.
Dola Michelle with the Joplin for Justice group released a statement to KOAM in response to the Stop the Steal rally and reaction from Trump supporters, saying, "I appreciate seeing people engaged in politics and taking actions such as protests. Still, my initial reaction was sadness that Trump supporters are falsely claiming manipulation of the election results without evidence." She also added, "Legal processes will affirm the integrity of the counts, then hopefully opposition will get on board and use their energy to fight for decency and a better tomorrow for all people." In Joplin, Caitlin Shive, KOAM News.
Folks may have been angry about the outcome of the presidential election at the Stop the Steal rally in Joplin, but that certainly wasn't the case in our nation's capital. The celebration in Black Lives Matter Plaza continued for a second straight day. A woman with a giant pumpkin balanced on her head had the spotlight for a few minutes, at least while the Village People's YMCA played. It's not clear whether the pumpkin was a seasonal reference or had some other meaning. There's no doubt, though, that the people at Black Lives Matter Plaza are celebrating Joe Biden's victory. The celebration started Saturday after Biden was declared winner of the 2020 race for the White House. All right, we'll take a break from politics, just a small one. We're going to talk weather with Nick Kelly. Nick.
Well, it's been a chilly morning to start, Mike, but we warmed up quickly throughout the course of the day with highs around 79 degrees. Granted, a good jump after we started chilly at 58 this morning. We've been dealing with partly sunny skies, thankfully, for much of the day. The cloud cover, for the most part, has held off. But as we continue to watch our next storm system work in out of the central plains, we'll see more cloud cover work in tonight before we see our next shot of rain and thunderstorms eventually roll on in. Ahead of that front, though, we're still sitting mild. Most of us in the upper 60s right now. I don't see us dropping much more from here on out. We're going to hold mainly in the mid-60s throughout the overnight and into Monday morning. Can't rule out a stray shower during the morning, but I think most of Monday staying dry with highs near 77. We'll break down when we'll see rain chances back in here coming up in a bit, Mike.
Sounds good, Nick. Over at the McCune Farm to Market, folks got crafty today making some festive holiday signs. This is one of their first classes they've brought back after putting activities on hold due to COVID-19. But they are still keeping things relatively small. A total of 15 people could sign up to paint these cool Christmas-themed signs.
We normally do classes 2 or 3 times a month, but with the pandemic, all of our classes have been suspended. So we're excited to be able to offer a smaller, safer version of our class so people can make some unique Christmas gifts and socialize a little bit.
Learn more about the activities at the McCune Farm to Market store by checking out the link that we've shared in this article on our website. That is KOAMnewsnow.com. Beer and trivia lovers came together for a night of knowledge at Beard Engine Brewing in Alba, Missouri. Patrons were invited to participate, coming up with a fun team name for their groups. From there, the game was on as people competed in general knowledge questions. Trivia night began after some regulars brought up the idea to the owners.
Well, we have 2 patrons that come basically every Sunday, and they're the one that kind of pitched the idea, and they actually give us all the questions. She literally makes us our answer sheets, our question sheets, and prints out all the sheets for everyone. She does everything for us.
And winners got some brews and, of course, bragging rights. All right, we've got 2 four-state heroes to remember tonight. We'll start with Keith Fiscus, a World War II veteran who made Joplin his home. Fiscus died at the age of 95 on Friday. Our Joplin viewers may remember him from his time as a greeter at the 15th Street Walmart. He worked there for nearly 40 years. Fiscus was in Army intelligence and reported directly to General Patton. He also spent 9 months as a German prisoner of war. Thank you, sir, for your service and for fighting for freedom. Our second four-state hero of the evening is Larry Sutton of Iola, Kansas. Sutton served as a private for the U.S. Army and he fought in Vietnam. Thank you, sir, for your service and your courage. For more information on all our four-state heroes or to nominate your own, just log on to KOAMnewsnow.com. And we'll be right back with meteorologist Nick Kelly and another look at your weather. Plus, Tropical Storm Eta may have been downgraded from a hurricane, but the storm is still causing people plenty of problems in the country of Cuba. Details are coming right up.
Thanks to partly sunny skies for our Sunday. We wrapped up the weekend on a bit of a warm note. Certainly warmer than where we should be for early to mid-November around here. And again, it's all because of partly sunny skies that we saw throughout the afternoon, at least, from Indigo Sky just outside of Seneca, Missouri. But you can see this morning we did see at least a bit of mostly cloudy skies to start. So far, though, we haven't seen that cloud cover result in any rain. And again, that cloud cover didn't really stop us from warming things up. We were actually a bit warmer compared to yesterday, where we had highs in the mid-70s. Didn't drop off too much this morning, with overnight lows back in the upper 50s. We were seeing some spots push near 80 degrees this afternoon. I don't think that was quite a record breaker, but certainly not where we should be for early November. But we are going to see fall-like air return, but we're not seeing that right now. Still mild at the 9 o'clock hour, 67 in Joplin with partly cloudy skies up top. We are seeing everybody around the Joplin area between 66 and 68 degrees, more 68s as you work across Ottawa County in northeastern Oklahoma. The outlying areas, much of the same, mid to upper 60s. And I think we're going to hold mainly mid-60s throughout the course of the night because our south breeze that we have in play is going to keep at it at 10 to 20 miles per hour. And while we're not seeing a whole lot of cloud cover right now in the way across the area on the Skywatch Storm Tracker, we're going to have more cloud cover develop throughout the course of the night, putting a halt to how chilly it'll get throughout the course of the night. Again, we're all ahead of our next front working across the Central Plains. This will be the front that'll bring in rain and thunderstorm chances as we get the new work week and school week started. And that's finally starting to head our way as these pair of upper level lows, this pair rather, starts to push off toward the east. And once we get on the back side of that front and get in on the cooler side of that jet, it's definitely going to feel like fall once again before you know it. Here we go throughout the course of the rest of the night. We are going to see mostly cloudy skies build back in. If there's enough moisture being dragged in here with this south breeze of 10 to 20, you could twist my arm, maybe a stray shower in the morning, but I really think most of you, if not all of you, will stay pretty much dry as we get Monday morning started. But again, we'll stay mild with lows in the mid-60s. There may be a time where we go back to partly sunny skies for the afternoon, but as long as that south wind is still in place, we're going to have another warm day, kind of like today. 64 in the morning, 73 by noon. We'll have afternoon highs right around 77. So for the majority of our Monday, we're going to keep things dry. But here's 10 o'clock. We can see the northerly winds kicking in across central Kansas. That's the cold front. It's going to start to head our way as we go into early Tuesday morning. Ahead of that front, we'll have showers and thunderstorms picking up ahead of it. I'm not expecting anything severe with this. But another trick with this front is going to send temperatures from early highs in the 60s into the 50s as we go throughout the course of the day. As far as rain amounts, we could still use some rain since we're in a bit of a drought, but even though this isn't a big soaker for us, it's not looking too bad. We'll certainly take rain amounts around ½ an inch before we see the system clear out by Tuesday afternoon. 34 for a cold Veterans Day morning before we bounce back nicely with the highs near 60. Mid-60s on Thursday, then we'll see rain chances try to sink back in by the weekend. We'll see how those chances look coming up in the next half hour, Mike.
Sounds good, Nick. Tropical storm Eta swept across Cuba today. The storm dumped rain on the island country, leaving streets and homes flooded and also forcing thousands of residents to evacuate. With sustained winds of 60 miles per hour, the storm pummeled Cuba's coastline. According to Cuban authorities, around 25,000 people have been evacuated due to the rough weather. And when we return, we've got reaction of President-elect Biden's victory from the state of Oklahoma. Similar to Kansas and Missouri, Oklahoma was also the home of a Stop the Steal rally held by Trump supporters, but there were also plenty of people celebrating the presumed 46th president of the United States. That story and more are coming right up.
Join us for news, weather, and a whole...
Welcome back. Yesterday, we showed you how folks in Kansas and Missouri were reacting to Joe Biden's victory over President Trump. Today, we've got reaction from Oklahoma. Here's KOTV Tulsa reporter Amelia Mugavero.
We are grateful that America gets to begin again.
Today's election results meant a fresh start for local and state Democratic members. State Democrat Party Chair Alicia Andrews calling for Oklahomans to accept and move forward.
There are people who may not be happy with the outcome, but that's what democracy is that we all get a voice, we all get a say, and we all accept the outcome.
But with President Trump refusing to concede, Tulsa Democrat Chair Amanda Swope is more anxious for the president's next move.
As excited as I want to be, I feel like it's going to be a process that gets drawn out longer than I'd like to see.
Tulsa Republicans were also out making their voices heard with a Stop the Steal car rally near 71st and Memorial, saying this election is not over.
Oh, they scream victory. No, that's a false. That is false.
We spoke to Rhonda Velmont Smith with the Tulsa County Republican Party.
We're going to wait. We're just going to wait and see what happens. But until then, we're going to let President Trump know that we've got his back. He's taken care of us for 4 years. Now we're going to hold him up and show him encouragement.
Back in the Greenwood District, we found a public celebration for the news Joe Biden will be president and Kamala Harris will be the first African-American woman elected vice president.
Still we rise, together we rise, and together we make a stronger America.
President-elect Biden's victory sparked celebrations nationwide this weekend. People from Los Angeles to New York City flooded the streets after waiting for election results to come to an end. Fox News' Alex Hogan takes a look.
Supporters of former Vice President Joe Biden wasted no time celebrating his victory on Saturday. People across the country poured onto the streets minutes after he passed that critical 270 electoral vote mark, honking horns and waving signs. And after a long 4-day wait, folks say they're ready for a change.
Feeling excited. It's been 4 years that many of us have been waiting for this moment.
Doing my part, supporting everybody, not just black people, not just Hispanics, but everybody who wants change, who want to see change in the world.
At Black Lives Matter Plaza in Washington, D.C., people who rallied for months calling for racial justice and an end to police brutality welcomed the new administration.
I have parents that live abroad. I have family that's impacted by this country's current stance of immigration, so it's something that we all needed.
While Senate Minority Leader and Trump critic Chuck Schumer joined New Yorkers in an impromptu dance party, telling President Trump to go home.
The long, dark night in America is over, and a new dawn is coming. And I want to thank all of the millions of Americans who voted.
But as the country waits for President Trump to concede, his campaign continues to allege voter fraud. His supporters rallying outside of election offices, saying the election isn't over yet.
I just would like the election to be decided legally, with legal votes.
And sources tell Fox News that President Trump will agree to a peaceful transfer of power if legal challenges fail. In New York, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
All right, we are not quite done talking about the Biden campaign's historic victory this weekend. And when we return, we are taking a look at the international reaction.
America's allies have welcomed former Vice President Joe Biden's election victory. I'm Kitty Logan in London. More coming up.
President-elect Biden is already drawing support from leaders around the world. Some people in other countries say they're hopeful a Biden administration will address climate change and rejoin the Paris Agreement. Fox News' Kitty Logan has more.
America has decided and entrusted its future to one man.
The news of former Vice President Joe Biden's victory was quickly welcomed around the world. Some of America's strongest allies are celebrating the win, hoping Biden's administration will be a fresh start.
A great buzz around. So finally Joe Biden will be the president.
Several world leaders seem optimistic that Biden will increase US involvement in international climate change efforts. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson sent his congratulations via Twitter, saying, quote, "The US is our most important ally, and I look forward to working closely together on shared priorities from climate change to trade and security." Biden has promised to rejoin the Paris Climate Agreement, which aims to limit global warming. The Trump administration officially dropped out of the accord on Wednesday.
One of the first things that Biden will do is to try to stop all the recent laws Trump tried to pass recently. Rejoining the Paris Agreement is already a good thing for the planet. It's worth it, if only for this.
Others, though, are cautious about what to expect from a new administration.
Maybe he won't turn everything around, but maybe he can work towards a more normal relationship with Europe and Germany, with NATO. That I believe he'll do.
Joe Biden says he's also prepared to rejoin the Iran nuclear deal, which the US withdrew from in 2018. In London, Kitty Logan, Fox News.
Thousands of miles from the U.S., the ancestral town of Kamala Harris celebrated the new vice president-elect. Folks in southeastern India woke up to the historic news of her victory this morning. For the people of this small village, this was big news because the new vice president-elect has roots there. Harris's mother is from the village, roughly 200 miles from the city of Chennai. A large billboard with Harris's picture notes her ancestral connections, and the village sent messages of congratulations and pride. We'll be right back with more news. Stay right there. Welcome back. A North Carolina couple says they know COVID-19 is anything but a hoax. That's because they both caught and recovered from the virus. Fox News' Kristen Gutierrez has that story.
We just thank God that we were two that made it through.
For Jacqueline and her husband, David McShaw, testing positive for COVID-19 was a rude awakening.
For those who say it's a hoax and say that it's not real, we're a witness that it is real.
In September, the two came down with what they thought were cold-like symptoms. While at a UNC hospital to be tested for the virus, the doctors noticed David, who has a compromised immune system due to a recent kidney transplant, wasn't doing well and rushed him to the emergency room.
That was maybe one of the worst days of my life. Having to not be able to go in with him.
Jacqueline was sent home to self-quarantine while David was admitted.
I was laying in the bed and I said, I got to fight. I got to fight and stay alive. But then after the journey really started, I just wanted to give up. I really did.
After a few weeks, David's symptoms had worsened.
I just couldn't take it no more. You're trying to breathe, feel like somebody's standing on your chest. It was kind of rough.
After placed on a ventilator for a week, David started to get better. Shortly after, he began rehab where he learned how to walk again. And after nearly 2 months surrounded by doctors, he could finally go home.
Thank you all so much. I feel great. I really feel good. It felt kind of strange when I was getting in the car, and as we were driving, I was just looking around and just looking at the scenery when we was on the interstate, and I was just thanking God for allowing me to see another day.
Kirsten Gutierrez, WR.
We'll be right back with meteorologist Nick Kelly and another look at your weather.
We managed to dodge a good deal of cloud cover today, so with partly sunny skies, we managed to push into the upper 70s to wrap up this weekend. Not a record breaker, but the morning clouds that gave way to afternoon sun over indigo sky and all across the area kept things warm, something we should not be for early November, but like all things, this has to come to an end, and we will certainly see cooler air return once we get into the week ahead of us. Right now, though, still mild at 67 in Joplin, partly cloudy skies up top, with the southeast breeze a little bit lighter for now at 8 miles per hour. But as long as that south breeze is still in place, we're seeing everybody in the Joplin metro mild, from 65 in Diamond, 66 in Pittsburgh, 68 for Galena and Baxter Springs, while we're at 69 over in Commerce. In fact, everybody surged into the mid to even upper 70s for afternoon highs. In fact, even Nevada, you might have topped out around 80 this afternoon. Now we've seen temperatures drop back mainly into the mid 60s. But I'll tell you what, the south wind that we had at 10 to 20, gusts are 25 during the day, it may have lightened up a bit as we begin the late night hours. But as long as they're still out of the south at 10 to 20, we're going to stay mild, mainly in the 60s as we go into our Monday morning as the new work week and school week gets underway. With the south wind still in place, we're going to see more moisture get pulled in from the Gulf, so we are going to see mostly cloudy skies return for your Monday morning, but most of Monday is going to be dry until we see this cold front roll on in. It will do so once we get this pair of upper level lows out of the Rocky Mountains and start working across into the Central Plains. That factor, that setup on the way, is going to mean not only return of rain and thunderstorms for Tuesday especially, but a return of more proper fall-like air. So ahead of that front, we will still be, as we go into Monday, the south wind still in place. It's going to bring in mostly cloudy skies. You could twist my arm and say maybe a stray shower, but I really think almost everybody will stay dry throughout the course of the morning. In fact, for much of the day for that matter. In fact, we'll even go partly sunny for the afternoon. So with that and the south breeze still in place, we're going to keep temperatures warm once again. 64 in the morning, 73 by noon. And for tomorrow, we'll say 77, but easily warm with that south wind at 10 to 20 and gusts pushing near 30 once again. Monday night, it starts dry, but here comes that cold front out of central Kansas, pushing in as we head toward Tuesday morning. Ahead of it, early highs Tuesday in the upper 60s. Then here comes that front with good chances for scattered rain and even some thunderstorms. Then once we get on the backside of that front, we clear the rain out, but we'll be dropping back into the 50s during the day on Tuesday. As far as expected rain amounts with this front, not too much, but at least we'll take any rain that still comes our way, up to about ½ an inch across much of the area. Other than this front, we'll keep things quiet for Wednesday. We'll start cold, but we'll see fall-like temperatures with highs around 60. Then out west, we'll see a wave coming out of the southwest. And as it starts to affect us by Friday and Saturday, that's when we'll see another chance for rain as we head toward Friday and Saturday. So enjoy this warm Monday before we see fall roar right back in on Tuesday. 77 tomorrow, 69 early, then dropping into the 50s behind the front once the thunderstorms clear out. 60 and quiet for Veterans Day. Then we'll just keep an eye on the rain chances for Friday and Saturday, Mike.
All right, thanks so much, Nick. And we will be right back with Andy Ciateco and your KOAM News at 9 Sports Report.
Welcome back. The Kansas City Chiefs have been pretty good this season. Entering the day, Kansas City is 7-1 on the year, winning their last 3 consecutive contests. The Chiefs are back at Arrowhead today, facing the Carolina Panthers. Patrick Mahomes looking to make some history today. Opening drive, 4th down for Carolina. Teddy Bridgewater throws a screen to Christian McCaffrey. Goes 9 yards for the score. Panthers strike first. Late in the second quarter, Chiefs down 14-6. Mahomes rolls and finds Marcus Robinson for the 2-yard touchdown. Chiefs would head into the locker room down 4. Third quarter, off the play action, Mahomes finds Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 4-yard score. Chiefs leading 20-17. Fourth quarter, Mahomes fires deep to a wide open Tyreek Hill. Mahomes, fastest quarterback to reach 100 passing touchdowns just in 40 games. Later, first and goal for Kansas City. Mahomes to Hill again. Chiefs leading 33-24 at that point. And then just 2 seconds to play, Carolina down 2. Joey Sly attempting an NFL record 68-yard field goal. Kick is off the mark. Kansas City holds off the Panthers, winning 33-31. Kansas City heads into the bye week 8-1. Competition runs in the family for 2 siblings. Together, Kaylee and Cormac Logue have 6 Kansas High School State Cross Country Championships. We caught up with the 2 on how they push each other on the course. Matt Logue hoped to share his passion for running with his 2 kids, not knowing it would turn out even better than he imagined.
When my kids were younger, I thought it would be really enjoyable if one of them liked to run cross country, and I got to coach one of my 2 kids. And then to have them both be so successful, I never dreamed I'd ever coach a state champion, much less 2.
Matt's oldest, Kaylee, ran for him at Girard from 2014 to 2017, collecting 9 individual state track titles and 4 cross-country championships.
I remember my freshman year, I won cross-country, and Cormac walked up to me and he said, he wasn't very pleased. And I was like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "Now I have to try to do the same thing," kind of like sibling rivalry.
Kaylee's younger brother, Cormac, has found his own success as a Trojan. Last week, the senior captured his 2nd straight 4A boys state cross-country title.
With the background that we have in running, that has set us up to do these type of things, I feel like a big part of that is, our prep in high school and our coaching.
The pandemic allowed the siblings to train together before the cross-country season.
She came home because of COVID, and when she did, we would go on, easy runs, and we just kind of would keep each other honest.
Our family is competitive in a fun way, so it's not like it ends up being part of your identity or part of like a bitterness, but it's really fun to train together and to root root for each other.
That training over the summer paid off for Kaylee. She won a third straight Big 12 women's cross country title for Iowa State with her family watching, the day before Cormac won his second state title.
They've actually never been able to come to a Big 12s before because they coach our high school team, and state and Big 12s always fall on the same weekend. But since both, state and the Big 12s are in Kansas this year, they did a lot of driving, but they were able to be at both, and I was very thankful for that.
As far as sibling rivalry goes,
I wouldn't want Cormac and me to be compared too much. I think he has a very unique path, a very unique experience, and he puts in the work himself and does a great job. So I was happy to see his state titles and to kind of see dreams that he had voiced even when he was a little kid.
That's a look at sports. Back with more news after this.
Hey. Welcome back. Jeopardy host Alex Trebek has died at the age of 80 after a long battle with pancreatic cancer. Fox News' Trace Gallagher takes a look back at his life and career.
Here he is, the host of Jeopardy, Alex Trebek.
For 35 years, Alex Trebek entertained TV audiences as the beloved host of Jeopardy, a show he described as a simple recipe for fun. Born and raised in Canada, Trebek studied philosophy at the University of Ottawa. His television career began in 1961, first as a news announcer for the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, then as a game show host.
In what part of the world would you find a wombat?
In 1973, Trebek relocated to Hollywood, where he hosted numerous short-lived game shows, including High Rollers and Double Dare.
Let me review some of the rules on our show.
Then in 1984,
This is Jeopardy!
Trebek took the helm of Jeopardy, becoming the witty, comically sarcastic nightly visitor to American living rooms.
Greg, try and relax.
Spending his days on the Jeopardy set, Trebek pulled double duty, also hosting Classic Concentration until its end in 1991. That year, Trebek made broadcast history as the first person to host 3 American game shows at the same time, when he briefly added NBC's To Tell the Truth to his hosting duties.
We're here with Guinness World Records.
In 2013, Trebek overtook veteran MC Bob Barker as the Guinness World Record holder for most game show episodes hosted by the same presenter. Trebek's TV fame left him with one regret: not getting a stab at the silver screen. He said he always wanted to try film acting or directing.
You can get pigeonholed very quickly by producers in the industry, and they said, oh, well, Trebek's a game show host. He's a pretty good game show host. Let's hire him to do this show. And all of a sudden, there's no exit.
And TV audiences were happy with that. His show boasted a loyal following, and for good reason. Beyond his humor,
it won't matter who had the best hair.
There were the moments, like when Cindy Stoll appeared as a contestant in 2016, suffering from stage 4 colon cancer.
Cindy's ambition was to come to Jeopardy and win over $100,000. She's done that.
I'm dying of cancer, and I really would like the money that I win to be used to help others.
Stoll died just a week before her episode aired. 3 years later, Trebek himself was facing his own cancer battle, with bravery, candor, and his trademark sense of humor.
I plan to beat the low survival rate statistics for this disease. Truth told, I have to, because under the terms of my contract, I have to host Jeopardy for 3 more years.
He was a philanthropist, using his fame to help others in need, working with World Vision to aid children around the globe, and boosting military morale with the USO. Much more than just an entertainer, he'll be remembered as a humanitarian and a nightly friend to so many Americans.
I'm grateful for the role I've played in the game show world, and if I've been able to bring a smile to someone's face or to make a difference in their life, hey, it's been a good day for me.
In Los Angeles, Trace Gallagher, Fox News.
We are not done yet here on your KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. And when we return, you're about to meet a very special athlete who made history this weekend. That story and more are coming right up. It's time to take a trip to Tinseltown and get an update of what you can expect coming out of Hollywood. Here's Fox News' Ashley Dvorkin.
Punishment is how we built everything we have.
The Walking Dead intros Lucille, a scary prequel brings back its star and Drake's musical milestone in the Hollywood nation.
Baby.
Drake has broken a record previously held by Aretha Franklin and Stevie Wonder. Laugh Now, Cry Later featuring Lil Durk marks Drake's 21st #1 on Billboard's R&B hip-hop songs chart. Wonder and Franklin have 20. Earlier this year, Drake set a Billboard record for most songs on the Hot 100. Esther will share more of her story. According to Deadline, Isabel Fuhrman will reprise her role from 2009's horror flick Orphan for the prequel Orphan First Kill, with filmmakers using forced perspective shooting and makeup. Julia Stiles also joins the cast. The installment follows the character's escape from an Estonian psychiatric facility to America, impersonating the missing daughter of a wealthy family, but is pitted against a mother who will protect her family at any cost.
But I'm a man of my word.
And AMC's The Walking Dead has cast Jeffrey Dean Morgan's real-life wife, Hillary Burton Morgan, to play his on-screen wife, Lucille. Lucille died before the events of the series and is the namesake for Negan's famous baseball bat. According to comicbook.com, the character will appear in Season 10's bonus episodes, airing spring 2021.
I gotta go.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
And here's an inspiring story to end the show on. Check out this remarkable achievement by a very special athlete. He set a mark this weekend in a tough-as-nails 3-sport event. 21-year-old Floridian Chris Nikic showed a heart of iron as he swam, biked, and ran his way into the record books. He became the first person with Down syndrome to complete an Ironman triathlon. Nikic set the goal with the help of his father and was steered by a guide. He finished a 2.4-mile swim, a 112-mile bike ride, and a 26.2-mile run in a single day. Nikic has endured 2 heart surgeries and several ear canal reconstructions, but that didn't stop him from achieving one of his lifelong goals. Kudos to that man. Tip of the hat. All right, thanks so much for wrapping up your weekend with us. We'll see you next week for more KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14. And of course, stay safe out there.